What if I told you that the struggles in your relationships today might have little to do with the present? Think about it, those moments where you overthink a text, avoid an important conversation, or feel like you're not enough could be echoes of wounds you didn't even realize you were carrying. Studies show that over 60% of adults report experiencing unresolved emotional pain that impacts their daily lives. These aren't just fleeting memories, they're patterns, silently shaping your connections, your self-worth, and even your happiness. But here's the twist, this isn't a life sentence. Imagine being able to break free from cycles that no longer serve you, creating relationships that feel safe, fulfilling, and full of genuine connection. It starts with understanding how your past has influenced your present. You're not alone in this, and once you uncover these truths, you'll find that healing is not just possible, it's transformative. By the end of this, you'll learn how to recognize the hidden forces behind your choices and discover actionable steps to reclaim control over your relationships. Ready to dive deep? Let's uncover the truth about how those past wounds are shaping your life right now. Ever felt like you're stuck in a loop, picking the same kind of partner or falling into the same arguments over and over? That's not a coincidence. When emotional wounds go unhealed, they quietly guide our choices, often steering us into familiar, yet unhealthy, situations. Imagine someone who grew up in a home where love felt conditional. They might unconsciously seek relationships where they constantly prove their worth, replaying old dynamics without realizing it. Recognizing this is the first step to breaking free. These patterns don't just show up in romantic relationships, they seep into friendships, work environments, even how you see yourself. Maybe you've caught yourself saying, "Why does this always happen to me?" That's the wound talking, not you. For example, someone who felt ignored as a child might overcompensate by being overly accommodating at work, only to feel taken advantage of. Catching these connections helps you see the cycle clearly. Here's the thing, breaking patterns doesn't happen by accident. It's like fixing a leaky faucet, you first have to find the source of the drip. Try journaling about repetitive conflicts or choices you've made that didn't serve you. Notice any themes? Maybe it's always choosing people who are emotionally unavailable or avoiding conflict altogether. These clues are breadcrumbs leading you to the real work, healing. And here's a little insider tip, patterns can be sneaky, but they're not invincible. Once you start spotting them, it's like putting on glasses for the first time, you can't unsee them. That clarity? It's your golden ticket to change. But what happens when these wounds start messing with how you communicate? That's where the real transformation begins. Have you ever felt like your words just don't land the way you want them to? Past emotional wounds often act as invisible filters, distorting how we express ourselves. Maybe you hesitate to open up because you fear being judged or dismissed. Imagine someone who's been criticized for speaking their mind as a kid. They might grow up holding back, avoiding tough conversations, or constantly second-guessing their words. This fear of vulnerability puts a wall up, even in relationships where trust should thrive. Over time, these barriers can make even small talks feel like a minefield. Think about this, you want to tell a friend how much their recent behavior hurt you, but instead, you say nothing, afraid they'll take it the wrong way. It's like carrying a weight that no one else can see. And guess what? It doesn't just weigh down your communication, it drains your mental health and chips away at your relationships. Breaking through these communication blocks starts small. Practice being honest in low-stakes situations. For example, next time someone asks what you want to eat, say exactly what you're craving, instead of the usual, "I'm fine with whatever." These little wins build confidence, making bigger conversations feel less daunting. Tools like mindful breathing can also help you stay grounded when emotions start running high. Try inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, and exhaling for 6 before speaking your truth. But let's be real, rebuilding communication takes guts. It's about rewiring how you approach connection and replacing fear with curiosity. Once you start peeling back those layers, you'll see how past hurts have shaped your words. And here's the kicker, understanding this will lead you straight to the next big challenge, reclaiming your self-worth and redefining your boundaries. How often do you settle for less than you deserve because it feels safer than asking for more? Emotional scars have a sneaky way of eroding self-worth, making people believe they're lucky to get even the bare minimum. Picture someone who's been told they're too much or not enough their whole life. They might shy away from setting boundaries, afraid they'll be abandoned or seen as difficult. But here's the truth, boundaries aren't walls, they're bridges to healthier relationships. When self-worth takes a hit, saying no feels like climbing a mountain. Take Sarah, for example. She works late every night because she can't bear the thought of disappointing her boss. Meanwhile, her personal life is unraveling, and her stress is through the roof. Sound familiar? Recognizing this imbalance is step 1. Start by asking yourself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I feel I have to? That question alone can shift your perspective in powerful ways. Rebuilding self-worth isn't just about saying no, it's about saying yes to yourself. One practical way to do this? Create a non-negotiables list. These are things you won't compromise on, like protecting your weekends for family time or committing to regular exercise. Even small steps, like blocking off 15 minutes a day for mindfulness or journaling, can remind you that your needs matter. And when you honor those needs, you start to attract people who do the same. But here's the kicker, boundaries don't just improve relationships with others, they transform the one you have with yourself. They teach you that self-care isn't selfish, it's survival. And once you've mastered that, it's time to dive deeper into what really drives your relationship dynamics, attachment styles. Have you ever wondered why some relationships feel so effortless while others leave you anxious or distant? It often comes down to attachment styles, those invisible blueprints formed in childhood that shape how we connect with others. If someone grew up with consistent love and support, they're likely to develop a secure attachment, making trust and communication second nature. But when early experiences involve neglect or unpredictability, they can lead to anxious or avoidant tendencies that echo into adulthood. Picture this, Lisa always worries her partner will leave, even when there's no real reason. She constantly seeks reassurance, fearing she's not enough. On the flip side, Mark keeps people at arm's length, avoiding deep connections to protect himself from potential pain. These patterns aren't flaws, they're survival strategies from the past. Recognizing them is like shining a light on an old map. It helps you understand why you've been taking certain routes in relationships. The good news? Attachment styles aren't set in stone. Start by identifying yours. There are plenty of quizzes and books on the subject, like Attached by Amir Levine and Rachel Heller. From there, work on healing through small, intentional steps. If you lean anxious, practice self-soothing techniques, like deep breathing or affirmations. If you're avoidant, try leaning into vulnerability. Start by sharing something small about yourself with a trusted friend and notice how it feels. Understanding attachment styles isn't just about fixing what's broken, it's about building something better. By recognizing these patterns, you create space for deeper, more fulfilling connections. And as you take these steps, you'll find yourself ready to tackle the ultimate journey, healing those wounds to grow into the version of yourself you've always been meant to be. Healing isn't about erasing the past, it's about learning how to thrive despite it. Think of it like tending to a garden, those emotional wounds are the weeds, and if left unchecked, they choke the life out of your ability to grow. But with the right tools, like self-awareness and therapy, you can pull those weeds out and make space for something beautiful. And no, it doesn't happen overnight, but every little effort adds up. One powerful way to start? Dive into practices that promote mindfulness and reflection. Journaling, for instance, can be a game changer. Write about your triggers, your fears, and even your hopes for the future. You'll be surprised how putting words on paper makes the tangled mess in your head feel more manageable. And therapy? It's not just for big problems. A skilled therapist can help you untangle patterns you didn't even know were holding you back, guiding you toward a healthier version of yourself. Remember, healing isn't just internal, it's about how you engage with the world too. Let's say you're trying to build trust after years of emotional hurt. Start small. reach out to a friend you've drifted from, or join a group that shares your interests, like a yoga class or a book club. Taking steps to connect teaches your brain that vulnerability can lead to safety, not harm. It's about rewiring those old pathways one experience at a time. And here's the real magic of healing: it creates space for growth you never thought possible. As the weight of old wounds lifts, you'll find yourself more open to love, joy, and even risks that once felt terrifying. It's a process, sure, but every step forward is a win. And as you move into this phase of rebuilding, you'll see how everything, from your mindset to your relationships, starts to shift in profound ways. Think about it, those emotional wounds you've carried for years don't have to define your future. You've already taken the first step by recognizing how they've shaped your self-worth, boundaries, and relationships. But the real question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you ready to take back control, heal those scars, and build the kind of connections that feel safe, supportive, and empowering? Imagine the life waiting for you on the other side of this journey. A life where communication flows effortlessly, where boundaries are respected, and where your self-worth is rooted in who you truly are, not the stories of the past. The choice is yours, and trust me, it's one worth making. So, what's holding you back? Start today. Reflect on your patterns, embrace tools like mindfulness, and don't hesitate to seek support if you need it. Healing takes time, but every small step brings you closer to the freedom and peace you deserve. And hey, if you found this helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another life-changing insight. Together, we'll keep uncovering the tools you need to transform your relationships and, ultimately, your life.